Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Astrologer Podcast. This is Deb McBride, and I am broadcasting from lovely Escazú, Costa Rica, where it did not rain today, so it's a good thing I watered the garden. Took out the hose, turned it on, gave everybody water. A good thing. And I didn't wait round to see if it was going to rain. You know, it was thundering, and I was like, okay, is it going to rain? Nope, good, did my job. Took care of my babies. It is Sunday, the 3rd of October. It is the first Sunday in October, and we're already off to a rockin' start, so I'm calling this month Rocktober. Rocktober used to be a term used by rock and roll radio stations in New York City. Maybe they still call it that, but yeah, this is Rocktober, and it is a rockin' month, and it's already started. And where do I begin? So today we had the sun opposite Chiron. And, I mentioned this last week. I mentioned that Mars was going to oppose Chiron, and now the sun is opposing Chiron. And it's an interesting thing because I felt this more strongly than I did Mars. I mean, Mars was one thing. I felt it. But it wasn't like the sun. It wasn't like the sun opposite Chiron. Today has felt heavy, and if you're like me, you were not wearing your best face today. So, I mean, it wasn't yesterday. Yesterday was fine. But it was just today's been a little rocky for Rocktober. So, now Chiron is the wounded healer. The sun is our life force. Imagine what happens when they oppose. Some astrologers don't necessarily use Chiron. They kind of overlook Chiron. They're like, whatever. Because, astronomers who name these things and call them what they are, whatever heavenly body it is, they don't necessarily make up their mind what it is. Chiron has been many things over the years. I tend to call it an asteroid. I think it's being called a comet. Somehow, I don't appreciate a comet within the astrological chart. An asteroid, yes. A comet, it seems so fleeting, So, in any event, it is in the sign of Aries, and, that is the sign of the individual. And the sun is highlighting the opposition. In the opposition, it's highlighting where we need to focus on our own opinion, our own idea, our own sense of self and individuality. And that's Aries, okay? And Chiron there is a bit of a wound that we collectively are dealing with right now, because we are dealing with, the sun in opposition. And so out pops Chiron from his cave, because the sun shines a light into the cave of Chiron. And it has been an interesting but not comfortable couple of days with this. And like I said, yesterday was fine. I didn't feel the Mars the way I'm feeling the sun, which is interesting, because you would think Mars, well, that's like a punch in the face, right? So anyway, the sun is highlighting Chiron, and it really is giving us reason to pause and lick our wounds, and maybe stay in bed a little longer today, maybe stay in bed a little longer tomorrow. And what it really is, I feel, giving us is this opportunity to see where we may have felt wounded in these last few days, and what could have surfaced from that. And maybe it helped you unearth some sort of wound that you didn't realize you were harboring, or resentment or something, some wound. And I certainly hit on a couple today that I was able to get to and release. And some of them, you can't do much about. It's Mercury retrograde. If you have something to say to somebody, it might be misconstrued. And this is a time, to mull these things over. This is a time to think about it, focus a little bit on it, not overdo it, not overthink it, but just sort of be present with it, and be present for yourself, and be present for yourself physically as well as mentally, psychologically, emotionally, but be present for yourself physically. Chiron had a physical wound, and maybe in some way your wound, maybe it's physical, emotional, mental, psychological, whatever, may manifest itself in a physical way. Maybe you're feeling this kind of physical experience in some way. And And you got to sort of sort through that. And it's a good time to journal. It's a good time to kind of focus on what might be irritating. Now, Mercury gave Jupiter a trine this afternoon or early evening, depending on where you are. And I thought that was pretty good. And that, I think, is why I was able to get to the point of my own Sun Chiron situation and what may have been bothering me. And I think Mercury, Jupiter, I would expect that to sort of be enlightening and maybe lift the spirits, but this is the sun we're dealing with. And the sun is really how we are in our day and our life force and our experience of our bodily energy as well as our stepping out into the sun and connecting with the sun. And sometimes it's good to do that. And I connected with the sun today, and I think that helped. But Mercury Jupiter is just like, maybe you're experiencing yourself as loquacious. Maybe you're thinking too much today. Maybe you're experiencing someone else as loquacious. But it's important to recognize something that mentally that you could unearth, because Jupiter can help us do that. And Mercury touch it, and it's like, there's an enlightenment here. There's an opening. There's a door. There's an opportunity, because it's a trine. So that's part of where we are. Okay, now the big day this week really is Wednesday, and Thursday to a degree, but really we have some stuff going on Wednesday. So let's go right ahead on into Wednesday, and because what we're doing is revving up for Wednesday, okay? It isn't just, Sunday, Wednesday, we've got a few days. We're revving up for Wednesday, okay? So Wednesday, there is a new moon. Yay. We like new moons. It's at 13 degrees of Libra. So that's good, but it's, it's like breakfast time, or depending on where you are, well, maybe not even breakfast time yet. Maybe you're just getting out of bed, and this region of the world. And, the new moon is fine. It's energetic. It's, it's in Libra. So it's not something where we want to, it's not Sagittarius. We're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go out. I'm going to get in the car, and I'm going to drive, and I'm going to go on a big journey, and I'm going to buy airplane tickets, and it's Libra. It's where we want to be gentle and polite and refined and aesthetic, and we want things to be beautiful. And you know what? The new moon in Libra is a great time to look at one's inner beauty and outer beauty, and to appreciate oneself. It's a good time to, the sun is opposite Chiron today. Did you tell your body you love it? Do you thank your body for helping you, for staying healthy, for being the house of your soul? Okay? So thank your body, acknowledge your body, feel beautiful in your body, whether you're a man or a woman or a cat or a dog. I don't know how many cats listen to this podcast, but when you are having a new moon in Libra, it's a good time to appreciate one's aesthetic and reach inside for one's inner beauty. Okay? Now, this new moon is not any old new moon. Did I say that last month? I probably did. This new moon is with Mars. The Mars-Moon conjunction occurs an hour after the new moon, so it's very connected. And the day after, on Thursday, the Sun conjuncts Mars. It's like midnight Eastern time. So, you might consider it, well, that's a long time away. Maybe that's not really a conjunction. It's a conjunction. It's conjunct the moon. The moon is what's new, okay? So there's a conjunction with the sun, the moon, and Mars. This is very tight. It's powerful. It's raw. Mars in Libra. Mars doesn't really want to be in Libra. It wants to be in Aries, because it does the, confidence, raw energy thing, warrior thing in Aries. It rules Aries. It's sort of like repressed in Libra in some ways. It doesn't get to be its big, bold self. It's like when the kids are rambunctious and you tell them to calm down and be polite and sit like little ladies and gentlemen on the sofa while we have our holiday meal. That's That's what it is. It's like sort of being calmed down. No, you're too rambunctious. You have to be like, comb their hair and make them look sweet and like angelic, and that's not Mars. The kids don't want to remain on the couch. They want to get crazy, and they've seen their cousins in a while, and they want to wrestle on the floor, and it's like, you keep telling the kids to calm down. Kids aren't going to calm down. They're going to do that for 5 minutes, and they're going to be back up and rolling around on the floor again. So it's Mars in Libra. We're telling some rambunctious energy to be polite and quiet, and that doesn't work. And, so it's a little bit like trying to control a wild animal and get them to be polite, and that's part of the day. So we're going to all wake up to this new moon that's like energized, vitamin shot, so just be aware of that. And if you have some difficulty sleeping when happens on Wednesday morning, don't be surprised, and just, connect with the energy, see what it wants. Just when you wake up, lay in bed, keep your eyes closed, and just connect with your body, because it's Marsy. Connect with your soul, because it's the new moon, and you want to connect with your soul's desires and how you feel in the morning and how you take on the day. And slowly, gracefully, Libra is a graceful sign. Mars in Libra is not graceful, like I just described. What you want is to try to gracefully embrace this day, Wednesday, instead of allowing yourself to shoot out of bed and get the coffee and run to, make the breakfast and blah, 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 or whatever you do in the morning, jump in the car. Just be very aware of it, and be aware that you are given a vitamin shot to this new moon. So you might start out of bed, but it's probably not the best thing to do. Okay, so embrace the energy, treat yourself gracefully. Don't stub your toe on the way out of the bedroom, because you're racing, and allow Mars to have its say. Allow Mars to, give you confidence and clarity and, energy, and not a fight. Okay. Mercury's retrograde. It's possible, people don't understand each other. And the moon is going to conjunct Mercury later that day, because, we've got all this energy in Libra. We will have 4 planets in Libra. Okay, it's going to be the sun, the moon, Mars, and Mercury. And the moon is going to touch all of them on Wednesday. So it's first the sun, then it's Mars, then it's Mercury in the afternoon. And then, it'll trine Jupiter, the moon, and it'll square Pluto before it goes void late that night. And, this is a time it's an energized day. This is a time to just sort of take one step at a time, move one foot in front of the other, and do not expect like miracles. Okay, just do your thing. And if you want to manifest something, it's great. For something that is Marsy, I want a new car. I want confidence in my work. I want confidence in the presentation I have to give today. I want a good boost of energy for my week to get me through my week. I want to feel good in my body. I want to start get back into my exercise routine, etc., etc. Those kinds of things. Meanwhile, the other thing that's going to happen on Wednesday is that Pluto is going to go direct, and that will be early afternoon, early mid-afternoon, depending on where you live, in this region of the world. Pluto is going direct. Okay, I'm saying it again. Why? Because we've been waiting for this since April. It went retrograde in April, and now it's going direct, and all of the months of inner work are going to come forward. All of the ideas and thoughts and things that have been stewing inside of us are going to come forward, and we are going to be dealing with these under a new moon with Mars, and then the moon is going to touch, Mercury and Jupiter and Pluto, and this is a busy, energetic day. Mercury is retrograde. watch your step this day, okay? Because Pluto's going direct, but Mercury's still retrograde. So please, please don't jerk forward and say something you're going to regret later. Don't overact. Don't get over enthusiastic. Just watch your energy that day. Like I said, don't stub your foot getting out of the bedroom. you know. The thing is that when Pluto goes direct, it's like everything that was under the surface comes out. And we're already feeling Pluto's direct station forward, okay? Things are happening, things are moving. You know, maybe we are not experiencing the best moods. Maybe we're getting some difficult news. Maybe things are a little rough because stuff is being unearthed. And that's what happens with Pluto when it goes forward. It's like something, like somebody slides off a manhole cover and everything comes out of the sewer, you know? And this is what I mean by a rockin' October. Wednesday is a rockin' day. We are leading up to Wednesday. As I said earlier, we're gearing up for Wednesday when Pluto goes forward. When there's a new moon with Mars, there's a lot of active energy. This isn't like, oh, Neptune's going forward. It's not Neptune floating forward. It's Pluto and Mars, and, you know, rev up your engines, folks. Where are you going? I'm going backwards because Mercury's retrograde. So one of the hard parts about this is trying to keep our head straight while this is happening. It's like, oh, yeah. This is, you know, Mercury's still retrograde. So don't do anything you're going to want to take back later. You know, don't say anything you're going to want to take back later. Move through this with ease, you know. You're like, what, Deb? What are you talking about? Ease? This doesn't sound easy. Remember that Libra is a genteel sign. It's effete. It is aesthetic. It is graceful. We don't want to go forth like a bull in a china shop, which is what Mars would like to do. So don't worry about it. Just move through your day and feel the energies and feeling them shift. Now, I think it's good, and my teacher used to think it's good, when planets, big planets like Pluto, the outer planets, go direct. It means like all is becoming right with the world. Things are moving forward. It's good. And then we get to Thursday and the Sun and Mars conjunct, but Venus moves into Sagittarius. So all those Libra planets, there's 4 planets in Libra on Wednesday, okay? So there's the Sun, there's the Moon, there's Mars, and there's Mercury. They're all ruled by Venus, and she is at the end of Scorpio, a sign she does not favor. She is at the end of these moments and Pluto rules Scorpio. So like I said on Instagram yesterday, you know, Venus is in sexy Scorpio, and she was making a sexy sextile to Pluto yesterday. And so Venus and Pluto are still talking to each other, and Venus will be really in Pluto's sign when all of this goes forward, when all this goes down on Wednesday. Okay? So they're all ruled by Venus. And she's in Pluto's sign. It gets all thrown back to Pluto, okay? So the dispositorship is 4 planets in Libra talk to Venus, and she says talk to Pluto, who's in Capricorn, who then talks to Saturn, who's in Aquarius, who then talks to Uranus, who then goes back to Venus, because Uranus is in Taurus, the other sign ruled by Venus. So Venus is really involved here. So there's a lot of Venusian energy. There's a lot of goddess energy. So remember, sometimes the goddess gets edgy, and she's a little edgy right now. She will go into Sagittarius on Thursday, you know, when we're still sleeping, when we're getting up early in the morning, this region of the world. And when she goes into Sagittarius, that is a big shift of energy. She's now speaking to Jupiter. And there is a little cycle there. Jupiter now is in Aquarius, speaks to Uranus, who rules Aquarius, who speaks to Venus because once again, Uranus is in Taurus. So we've got a little circle of Uranus, Jupiter, Venus going around and around. And that is definitely a more energized, positive experience. Venus and Sag. I remember, I think it was last year, boy, when Venus moved out of Scorpio and went into Sag, it was like whoosh, like the windows opened and the air came in and we were up and ready to go. It wasn't this, this deep, intense, passionate, I'm going to keep these secrets to myself kind of sexy energies going on with Venus. Okay, now we move into Sag on Thursday and things are going to brighten up. So this is an intense energy starting on Wednesday that shifts into a brighter, more positive, more forward-thinking, forward-moving energy. Sag wants to get revved up and go, like I said earlier, So I think we've got a lot of powerful stuff happening this week. So hang on to your hats, okay? Hang on to your hats. This is a really intense, powerful shift forward. And this is the first one, okay? So Pluto goes forward. That's the first planet, because at the end of the week, when we meet again next Sunday, Saturn will be going forward. Probably as I'm sitting here doing the podcast or as I'm posting the podcast or something, Saturn will be moving forward. Now remember, all of last year where there was Saturn and Pluto, and then there was Pluto and Jupiter, and then there was Pluto and Jupiter again, and then Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn at the end of the year, and remember how they were all together, hanging out in that COVID cluster. And Jupiter is in Aquarius, and Jupiter is going to go forward too this month. And when Pluto and Jupiter conjunct, we're at 24 Capricorn, and that's where Pluto is going direct at 24 Capricorn. So this is a hot degree. This is a remembrance of last year. Pluto and Jupiter, remember last year what I said? I said, go in, go within. We're being told to go in and stay in. That means go within, find what your purpose is, find what new path you have, find where your navigation is, find your hidden talents, go inside. And so, this is a very powerful couple of weeks because it's Pluto first, then a few days later it's Saturn, then a week later it's Jupiter. They were all together last year. Okay, so it's remembrance of things past, as Proust said, right? And then Mercury goes direct. After all is said and done, Mercury's like, wipes his hands clean and says, okay, I'm done. We're going forward. And so this is going to be a fascinating month. This is not going to be dull. I already feel the energies shifting. I have already seen things that Pluto has brought forward. I've already gotten uncomfortable in these last days, and I feel uncomfortable. I do feel uncomfortable. Not because anything bad is happening, but because things are getting unearthed. Because true colors are coming out. People's real motives are coming forward. People's energies or their things, their stuff is coming forward. If they're upset about something in their life, I'm watching people projecting onto others. And, I'm thinking of a few people who project onto others and that I've experienced in the last couple of days, and, it's really hard to, and here's the Sun Chiron again. What's me? What's the other person? Because they're in opposition, so who's really wounded here? Are you reflecting my wounds to me? Am I experiencing your projection? What is it? How are we experiencing each other right now? Libra is the sign of partnership. It's the person across the table from you. It rules the 7th house. There's 4 planets going to be in Libra in a couple of days, and it's all me and you and I, us together there's a lot of bouncing back and forth between people. And people are reflecting things back to you. People are showing you parts of yourselves. Try not to point fingers. You have to sit and be very discerning with the dialogue that you're getting, especially while Mercury is retrograde. Are you learning something about yourself? Is someone reflecting your own things back at you? Or are they projecting their stuff onto you and you really don't have the issues that you think you have? Like, is somebody making you feel bad about yourself? Is it because they feel bad about themselves? Don't take on other people's stuff. This is really hard. It's really hard to not take on other people's stuff right now. And, I've learned some very serious lessons in the last few weeks about taking on people's things and being too much of a cheerleader to people who are not going to go anywhere. People who I have to keep egging them on. Hey, come on, you're so talented, you're this, you're that, blah, 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 blah. And, and they don't do anything. And I watch the same thing over and over, year after year. And I'm like, didn't we learn this, Deb, a long time ago, that you need to not, give all your energy to people who aren't going anywhere? To people who are in the same circle, who aren't initiating new projects, who say they're going to do things and then they don't. It's, I want to not do that. I want to not do that. I want to stop, I got to take that energy and turn it on myself, okay? I've got to take that energy, and that's what you have to do too. You have to take the energy and say, if you're being someone's cheerleader and they're not playing ball, then why are you being a cheerleader? I have plenty of people in my life who are doing big things and who are making grand steps, and those are the people who deserve my cheerleading skills. God, it's so complicated right now. It's so complicated. And I said this on Instagram a week ago. It's complicated. And it's hard to discern what's you and what's the other person. And normally I would say, well, that's very eighth house. But Venus is in Scorpio, So the boundaries between you and the other are not clear. Mercury's retrograde in Libra. What is yours? What are your thoughts? What are somebody else's thoughts? What is it that you're doing for yourself that is encouraging your mission and encouraging your plans? Remember, Pluto's going to go direct at 24 degrees of Capricorn, where Jupiter and Pluto conjunct last year. Pluto's going direct. And it won't go retrograde till next April. And we are experiencing the forward motion of the god of the underworld. So he's coming out from the underworld with things to tell us. And, some of those things are really powerful and intense. And it's happening all on a new moon with Mars. So this is an incredible amount of energy. This is an incredible amount of forward thinking and forward moving, even though, Mercury's still retrograde. There's a part of us that, goes on every day. We're not completely stymied, we still have to, it's not like we turn around, go back to bed and stay there for 3 weeks. We got to keep moving forward, and we learn the lessons along the way. And thankfully, we have energy to do these things, and thankfully Pluto is going direct and Venus is moving into Sag, and this is all very positive, okay? It's just always think of things being unearthed. What does it feel like when you dig for buried treasure and you find it? Wow, look at what we found. We dug a hole in the garden to put a new tree in, and look what we found. I don't know. What did you find? What did you find within yourself? What did you unearth within yourself? let the tears flow if they have to during the sun opposite Chiron today. And, while it's still in that range the next day or so, let the tears flow and allow yourself to be open and vulnerable and sensitive and see your inner beauty. Find your inner beauty. And know that when Pluto goes direct, more of your inner beauty is going to be revealed to you because something will unearth that. Find out and understand and look at yourself and see how beautiful you are. Libra's about beauty. And find out how beautiful, remember how beautiful you are and that you deserve something beautiful. Okay? And Pluto's here to help us remember that. And it's helping us unearth our own beauty. So, isn't that lovely? That's a lovely thought. Yes, it's powerful energy, but it's, the part of you that is sensitive and vulnerable and raw during this time is part of your inner beauty. That's a good thing. And really own that inner beauty and know that you deserve to be beautiful, and you deserve a beautiful life, and you deserve to have beauty in your life. And it's all of that rawness and realness and vulnerability is actually a precious gift, even if it feels uncomfortable. So when we look across the table at the person across the table or ourself in the mirror, because it is all this seventh house energy, all this Libra across the aisle, across the table, in the mirror kind of energy, when you look at yourself in the mirror, acknowledge your beauty. Acknowledge your, in all its flaws and all your stuff. Stop looking for the flaws and look for the beautiful, okay? In yourself. And that is our sermon of the week. So I thank you for listening. Have a beautiful week, seeing your inner beauty. This has been the Golden Astrologer Podcast. If you'd like to visit more with me, you can find me on Instagram, which is the Golden Astrologer. My website is thegoldenastrologer.com, and my Twitter is @DebAstrology. And please do visit again and write to me, info@thegoldenastrologer.com, if you feel you are in need of some support. And you can book a session online when you go to my website. You just click at the top, book online. And I hope to see you in a session very soon where we can discuss your inner beauty. So have a fabulous week. Enjoy the forward movement of Pluto and the big bright experience of Mars on that new moon. Have a good week.